Okay, so here we go. It's new product time. You ready?
Yes.
Set.
Make.
But wait, this can't be new. I've seen this before. Oh wait, no, it's kind of new.
This is a kind of new thing. So
this is a BeagleBone. This isn't new, Lady Ada.
Let me do that again. What are you? Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it. This is a BeagleBone Black. It's the BeagleBone you know and love so well, but this one is actually a slightly different product ID because it's not made by Circuit Co., who's the original partner for TI. This is actually made by MBest. So instead of being made in Texas, it's made in China. So it's the exact same specs, the same board, same file, same everything, same test procedure. And like we even got one and we booted it up and it boots just fine into Debian, which is what the latest BeagleBone Black Rev Cs are. But again, it's not made by Circuit Co., it's made by MBest. It's, as far as we can tell, completely equivalent. We looked at it, it looks exactly the same. Element 14 guarantees that it's equivalent. They're the manufacturers through MBest. And it's basically another supplier for the BeagleBone Rev C. Only reason we think this might be handy is a lot of people want BeagleBone Blacks and sometimes Circuit Co. doesn't have them to supply. But having two suppliers now means you have twice the opportunity to get BeagleBone Blacks, so hopefully we will not have any stock issues going forward.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to see it's unclear to me exactly the landscape of how TI and BeagleBone interact because the BeagleBone is an effort, almost like the Pi Foundation, and TI is a chip manufacturer, so the BeagleBone is somewhat like an eval board for TI stuff.
Yeah, but it's totally open source.
Yeah, what's cool is the fact that you can have multiple manufacturers for the BeagleBone because it is open source, because they do want to get as many out as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we could manufacture BeagleBone Blacks. I don't really want to because we're really busy. But if we wanted to, we could buy all these chips, get the PCBs made, and make BeagleBone Blacks in house, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's that one. That's pretty straightforward.
So
moving on.
Next, more filament.
Yep. We now have more filament. This is now 1.75 millimeter ABS in black, and we'll hold it up to prove it to you.
Yeah.
It's from Ultimachine, which from many experimentations we've determined makes the best quality filament.
Yeah, I saw Ultimachine at Maker Faire, and they said thank you for putting our name on things and saying that this is the best quality because it's cool that someone noticed. So this is made in USA. It's not the cheapest filament, and
it's not the cheapest.
And you know what? If you do a lot of 3D printing, cheap filament means your extruder gets clogged,
and then you have to throw out your print anyway.
It's crummy stuff. It breaks. It's just bad. So we decided to get the best one. Yeah. So we're gonna try.
We'll get more colors next week as well. This is just we placed an order and then not all of it came in, and then the rest of it came in. So if you want to get a whole bunch of filament, wait a couple of days, and we're gonna put in like green, red, blue, and translucent, whatever. We have like a huge box of different colors. We'll be taking photos and putting them in next week.
Okay, next up we have two new Raspberry Pi B+ starter packs.
Yes.
One with and one without a Raspberry Pi B+.
We finally got in assembled Pi cobblers and the 2 amp power supply with USB cable built in. So that means we can finally do the starter packs. We had starter packs for the Model B, but since the Model B is in a slight hiatus, it will come back. But people want to upgrade to the B+ anyways because B+ has more USB ports. So how about you? Yeah, can you just stop on this photo?
Sorry.
That's exactly the opposite.
You want to go back?
Yeah. This just shows you it in action. We have 2 versions. One has a Model B+, and one does not. So just pick whichever one you want. If you don't have a Model B+, get the one with, and if you already have one, then go without. The B+ is in the center, so right there. And we are including our acrylic cutout case. It's a beautiful case with a hingy lid, which is great, and it works wonderfully with the cobbler, which is all the way over there. There's a ribbon cable, 40-pin ribbon cable, and we include an extra long breadboard, so you can plug in the cobbler into the Pi and prototype circuits. We also include 20 pins of premium cable, a console cable, which will let you log into the console for debugging or headless operation. We find this console cable is really handy because if something goes amiss, if you don't have a monitor, you can still log in over the console and log in directly and just run stuff. And also, right here, we include our stick USB Wi-Fi dongle. These are really good Wi-Fi dongles. They have better range than the little ones, and a lot of people were like, little ones didn't have good range, especially if in a big apartment or in a house. So we are including the stick one, and then, can you hide me?
What?
Can you hide my face?
Okay.
Thanks. We also include where my face was. 3 tactile buttons, RGB LED capacitor, a photocell, and then a bunch of resistors. And also, you don't see it here, but we also include our high quality 5-volt 2-amp power supplies. This is really everything you need to get started with a Raspberry Pi Model V Plus, especially if you're interested in physical computing. We have more components, of course, if you want to add them, but this is like a really, really good way to start if you want to like follow a book or follow our tutorials. Oh, it includes also forgot to mention, includes a Raspbian pre-installed SD card. So you are like plug and play. Plug it in, and you're ready to go with Raspbian already installed.
Okay. If you want to get started with the Raspberry Pi, this is the way to do it. Next up, this is in the store, and it's very cool. We've been waiting anxiously to get this in. It is the Spark Core. A lot of people know about it.
This is the Spark Core starter kit. It's a Wi-Fi, Internet of Things, little helper breakout board. It uses an STM32 processor, and it has a CC3000 on top. And this was a successful Kickstarter, and then after the Kickstarter was complete, we said, hey, let us know when you're ready to ship, and we'll stock it. And so we got a shipment of like 100, and we'll get more if people want more. We're getting the ceramic antenna, which we said was the most popular anyways. And it's cool because you can, we program it over Wi-Fi, and there's a lot of example code. It is not an Arduino. Even though they say on their website it is Arduino compatible, it's not. And I have to make it super clear because we have a lot of Arduino stuff that will not work because you have to port the library. Many times it may work, especially if it doesn't use any of the lower level stuff, like maybe timers or the specific analog digital pins or the specific I2C stuff. I don't know. It's the STM32 processor, not the Atmega processor. So even though many basic Arduino type programs will work, and I think even people ported NeoPixel library to it and a couple others, there is no guarantee that if you have an Arduino that this will work the same. So just be aware.
Be aware.
But check it out, and they've got a great website at spark.io with their own cloud system. If you're interested in doing Internet of Things stuff, this is very easy to get started, and it's really popular. We're seeing a lot of projects, so we're glad to have it in the shop.
Next up, the Raspberry Pi computer pack. This gets you going.
This is the add-on to the starter pack. So if you notice in the starter pack, we include a power supply and a USB and a SD card and all that good stuff, but we don't include like any computer parts. A lot of people may already have a mouse and keyboard and HDMI cable, but if you want to turn your Raspberry Pi into a computer, especially if you have a starter pack and you want to have like a monitor and you want to like keyboard and mouse, because the B Plus has 4 USB ports, you can have a mouse and a keyboard and Wi-Fi, which is kind of like this magic trifecta of usability. So this pack is just it's like a 10-15% discount off of getting the parts individually. You get HDMI cable, a really, really nice chiclet keyboard. These are like really good quality keyboards, and a really nice optical wheel mouse. They're wired, so they're a little bit less expensive, but they're also, you don't have to worry about batteries and recharging, and they just plug it in and it works great. So, computing pack.
Okay. Next up, we got this little thing. What's this?
This is a little amplifier board.
That's so cute.
We have a lot of stereo amplifiers, Class D stereo amps, but they're a little bit big, and also maybe you don't need stereo. Maybe you only have a single speaker, in which case you may find this handy. It's a 2.5 watt Class D amplifier. It can drive 4 or 8 ohm speakers, or 6 ohm, I guess, if you happen to have a 6 ohm speaker. It can do up to 2.5 watts if you give it 5 volts and it's driving in a 4 ohm speaker. And I think you can do like 1.5 watts or 1.2 watts if you're driving 8 ohms from 5 volts. But it can run as low as 2 volts. This is a really good battery powered speaker thing. And actually designed it for use with the soundboard, which we'll talk about shortly. Okay. And I'll demo it then. But the nice thing about this is it's really small. It's really low cost, like $4. And it has a little trim pot all the way over there. So you can adjust the volume because it's mono, so you just twist potentiometer and it will adjust the volume for you, which is really nice if you just want to have like a simple amplifier. And it's pretty loud. I'll demo it shortly.
Okay. Next up. This is something I saw in person, and I saw Lenore and Wendell from Evil Mad Scientist Laboratories, and this is the new metal
Pro EggBot.
Pro EggBot. And when I saw it, I said, "Oh man, when should we start ordering these?" He said, "Phil, you already did."
This is super slick. So this is no longer a kit. This is like a fully manufactured EggBot. So if you are interested in EggBotting, but you don't want to get the basic EggBot, you maybe want to have a fancier EggBot. I'm not actually sure the update and specs. I think basically it's higher precision, I think the EggBot required some assembly, not tons of assembly, but it did require some. This one is actually ready to go out of the box, but it's, I think, a little bit more expensive, but it's also a lot more rugged.
Maybe the other thing, that's really cool is they got this custom bicycle part that was made by a company who makes these like brakes.
The quick release.
The quick release that's just for the EggBot.
Can you open this?
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to open this up.
Oh, you know what? It opens this way.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I can read. Okay, so let's show this thing off. Wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's like an appliance now.
So yeah, it's appliance spot. So yeah, you've got these quick releases, so you can open this, and there's like measurements, and it's this beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's still got the open source EggBot board, so if you want to hack it or modify it, it still uses Inkscape. But it is now just like super slick, and it comes with tools. I guess there's people who really wanted EggBots, but they're like, I don't even necessarily want to kind of screw together the EggBot. So
I'm going to say this. So Evil Mad Scientist Laboratories, they make the best stuff in the maker world. Hands down.
It is the highest quality. Look at this. This is
the craft person ship on this is incredible.
Craft ladyship. Yeah, Lenore and Waddell are excellent. This is like custom machined parts and bent, and then it's powder
milled.
coated.
Yeah, they just did such a good job.
This is intense. It's like sweet. Yeah. Oh,
it's kind of annoying how good they are.
You can tell like they're engineers because there's 3 nubs for the feet.
Yeah.
Because on the inside, engineers only like to have 3 points because that way you never have rocking or tilting.
Yeah, and then they have the serial number. This is number 24.
Okay. All right, so this EggBot could be yours if you order now.
You can get it for 10% off.
24.
Okay, next up, this is a cool thing. If you have a TAS 4 or any 3D printer, you can laser cut this. This is a very cool, flexible plate. And what this does is allow you to pop the prints off.
Yeah.
And we asked our 3D printing experts here at Adafruit, what should we get for the TAS? So the builds are so big that they get stuck, and a lot of people do the blue tape. There's all sorts of things you can do, but this bends. And let me try to show you. So it bends, and when it bends, just ever so slightly this way or this way, the print pops.
Yeah.
So this is a very handy thing for 3D printers.
You do have to re-level the board, the plate after using this.
Yeah, gotta do that anyways usually.
You know, chances are if you 3D print, you're used to that anyways. So yeah, this is some kind of interesting, flexible but sticky plastic. So check out the specs for what plastics you can use with. I'm assuming you can use ABS and PLA, but I don't know.
It's a PRINTinZ flexible 3D plate.
Right.
Okay. Next up, this is besides you. This is the star of the show tonight. This is one of the coolest products I think you've ever done.
Aw.
It is. No, I mean it. This is the Adafruit Audio FX board. This is a. You don't need an Arduino. You don't need a microcontroller, and you get all the goodness of something like a sound trigger, what people might be familiar with, all in this small package. So, Lady Ada, take it away.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a long time coming, but I finally finished the soundboard, and it's an audio trigger, but it's a really, really easy all-in-one audio trigger. So, you know, instead of having an Arduino and a wave shield, a lot of people are like, well, I want to make a sound, so they get an Arduino and a wave shield or like some MP3 shield or something. It gets a little bit expensive. It's good quality, but it's, you know, you have to program it. It's not plug and play. So this is specifically designed only to make sounds, and specifically for people who don't want to get a programming thingy going on. It is plug and play. You do have to solder wires to it. Eventually, you might make a solder-free version, but you don't have to do any Arduino programming. You don't need a microcontroller, and there's not even a configuration file. I'll explain how this works. It has built-in storage as well. So the little chip on the side here is a 2 megabyte chip. And it's a flash chip, and so when you plug this into USB, there's a micro USB connector. It shows up like a hard drive, and then you can just drag the audio files you want over. So you don't have to get an SD card and load it. So like when you buy it, you're done. It's all in one. And it uses a VLSI chip called the VS1000, which has a built-in Ogg Vorbis or wave codec. Sorry, not codec, only decoder. It cannot encode. And so Ogg Vorbis is basically like a free version of MP3. MP3 is a patented format, and so to keep it cheap, they didn't include MP3 decoding. But there's a lot of MP3 to Ogg Vorbis, like drag and drop converters, and I used one on the web. Even you like drag your file onto the web page, and it converts it, and you download the Ogg Vorbis file. It sounds exactly the same, and it's the same size, but you don't have to pay Fraunhofer. Sorry, Fraunhofer. And then it also decodes waves. Classic uncompressed wave files of any bit rate you want, and it sounds really, really good. It can do stereo. And then my face is hiding a headphone jack. Can you Can you put my face away? Thanks. There's a stereo output headphone jack, so you can connect it to powered speakers, or you can use an amplifier. I'm actually going to demo it with the amplifier we talked about earlier. You can connect like any amplifier you want. It just has stereo output, and you have up to 11 triggers. And I'll demo the triggers in a bit. Do you want to show the other photos?
I was going to...
Oh, you want to go straight to the demo?
Just go to the overhead,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because we're going to run out of time. Oh, can I...
What do you want to do?
I want to turn off the autofocus. Well, I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'll just autofocus. So this is the board, and I actually put a live poly backpack onto it, so it's portable, and I can power it up. And then there's 11 pins. I connected up 10 buttons because I ran out of space for an 11th button. And whenever you trigger that button by connecting it to ground through like a button or a sensor, you can watch Becky's video for what kind of sensors you can use. You can use like a tactile switch, or you can use like 2 pieces of conductive material, or like those, conductive Velcro, or any kind of switch. The processor will read the switch and then play that track number. So if the track is called, for pin number 0, track 00.ogg, it will play that when you press T0, the 0th pin trigger. If your track is named T10.wave, it'll play that file when you press the 10th button. So I'll just demo like that part really easily. So yeah, it's just lit up, and then I'm going to press this.
Track 9.
Does that come through? Not.
Yeah,
okay.
it does.
I'll maybe make it a little louder, because I can adjust the volume on the board. Make sure it's plenty loud.
Track 9.
Whoa, too loud. Hold on.
Track 9.
And then,
Track 8. Track 7.
so each button
Track 7.
has a particular track that plays. And then, so that's like pretty simple. You press the button and audio file plays. That's really easy. But then, like, I thought, well, a lot of people have more complicated things that they want to do. Like, for example, you might want to have an effect that plays only when you hold down the button. So, like a repeating sound effect, like like a ray gun. When you hold the trigger, it makes blasty sounds, and then when you release it, it stops playing that sound. So I think this one is the one that loops.
Track 3.
No, sorry.
Track 4 hold loop. Track 4 hold.
And when I let go of it,
Track 3.
nope,
Track.
it stops playing. So it's one of those, only hold to play the file. And to do that, you just rename the file to track 04 hold loop.wave. And when the processor sees that the name of the file contains the word hold loop, it knows to only loop it when you hold down the button. And then there's a couple other modes. There's also a latching mode. So that's a mode where you press the button, it starts playing and repeating, and then it waits until you press it again to stop. So this one, I think, is that one.
Track 6 latching. Track 6 latching. Track 6.
And then I press it again to stop it. So that's good if you want to have something go on in the background when you don't want to like hold down the button all the entire time, or the sensor. And then there's 2 other modes, which I don't think I have time to demo, but I'll describe. There's next mode, where you can have up to 10 tracks on one button, and every time you press the button, it plays through each track in a row. So if you want to have like a teddy bear that when you squeeze it, it like says something, and then the next time you squeeze it, it says something else. So you don't have to have multiple triggers. You can have up to 10 files on one button by having the last digit be 9 or 8 or 7 or 6, from 0 to 9. And then there's another version called random play mode, where you can have up to 10 tracks, and it'll play a random one every time you press the button. So let's say you want to have that same Squeezy Teddy Bear project, except every time you squeeze it, it says something randomly. It has a random number of tracks that it plays. So yeah, there's 5 different trigger modes. There's the classic play mode. There's the hold to trigger mode. There's the the classic mode, the hold looping mode, latching mode, next mode, and random mode. So you can have up to 5 different, and you can mix and match. Like each button can have different types of modes. So you can have like one button that holds and loops, and one that does next mode. And so you can have up to like basically 200 different audio files if you wanted all play. And all you have to do is just like, plug in USB and drag the files on, and then just rename them according to what you want the performance to be. That way you don't have a configuration file or any programming, and it covers like 90% of projects. So yeah, I think that's it. And then that's the amplifier board that I'm just demoing with it, using 4-ohm speaker and then you can adjust with the potentiometer. So that way I get to demo both things at once.
Okay, good work.
Okay.
Everybody is coming up with amazing things that they want to do with it, and they said fabulous engineering.
Yay! And
good
yeah,
work,
one of the cool things about this is that since I designed this after the Pro Trinket, I made it work with the Pro Trinket LiPo backpack because I thought like people want to make this battery powered. So if you grab the backpack on, you could plug a LiPo battery and then it charges over the micro USB, so you can make it like totally portable. And then you plug it in to recharge it or to upload the files again.
So if you want to make that stuffed animal or toy that talks
Or
and
prop,
does thing, or anything, or costume, this is the board. So we think, by the way, it's sold out instantly, so that's the way it is.
We're going to make more though, and I'm also going to make a version that has a built-in amp in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'm also going to try to make a version that has a 16 megabyte flash chip, which is a little more expensive, but actually 2 megabytes is quite a bit. Like people think like, yeah, 2 megabytes, like that's not that much, but with Ogg Vorbis, it's actually up to 3 minutes of audio.
Yeah.
So like you can have a full song that plays, and or like multiple long effects. But I demoed a couple of kind of classic projects like the little Yoda that when you press it, when you squeeze it, it says different Yoda phrases, or the ray gun that when you hold it, it plays blaster sounds, and you have another blaster, and it only took like 300K of memory. So.
Okay, and with that, Lady Ada, is
plenty of space.
New products.